Hello, all gorgeous little boys and girls of Jesus. Hope you're doing okay. And I know that it's halfway through October, so that means that Christmas is coming up. And for the run up of Christmas, I like to maybe re- um I like to make two or three Christmas stories for the run up of Christmas and then read them to you here. And today I made a story and it's called Celeste the Unicorn from Heaven Says Christmas. And here's the story. Celeste the Unicorn sat on the golden banks by the sides of the sea of glass that flow from God's divine throne in heaven. Adam came over to him, tenderly stroking her beautiful, sparkling, multi-coloured manes, saying, "Please, beautiful Celeste, come with me. I need to show you something in the sparkling reflections coming out from the sea of glass." Adam took her over the beautiful crystal diamond bridge. Together, hand in hand, he went with Eve. Adam and Eve thought that they would see a city of gold made for their descendants, but sadly they were very wrong, for Adam and Eve were watching their promising future. A very evil servant-like creature beguiled them into eating the forbidden fruit. He tempted them with the knowledge of good and evil, and sadly they both succumbed to the temptation. Celeste was left standing on her own while all this was going on, and was horrified to witness war, famine, hatred, envy, pride, all suffering and evil. Then she saw a particular place in the future during the 21st century, and two particular best friends called Chloe and Tiana, who lived next door to each other in Daytona Beach in Florida in the USA. While Celeste was witnessing all of this, floods of tears fell from her eyes. An angel Gabriel walked over to her, saying, "What you see is the future of mankind's future. You want a beautiful golden stripe on your back. For you to earn that stripe, I am sending you to the future to meet Chloe and Tiana. But be very careful, for unicorns are the very rare creatures that God kept in heaven and does not get sent to the fallen world. The people there will not think that you are real, and they will not think that unicorns exist." Celeste replied, "I want to stay here, it's beautiful. Why am I being sent to Earth into the future?" Celeste asked Gabriel, "To make a difference in the lives of Chloe and Tiana. They have not had a happy Christmas in years." With that, Gabriel sprinkled heavenly dust over Celeste, and she walked through a beautiful ruby and pearl caves tainted with gold. Suddenly she found herself walking on the other side, but she made herself invisible so not to be seen. Children were playing happily in the vast rivers that were swept along by huge waves. Back in heaven, God was very hurt by Adam and Eve's disobedience, that he sent them out of the Garden of Eden to our fallen planet called Earth. Adam and Eve were very sad to have let God down, and they were also missed Celeste so very much. Celeste looked all around at all the people, thinking to herself, "These peoples must be sons of Adam and daughters of Eve." She walked further along and felt very sad as she saw homeless men, women, and even children sat outside the buildings feeling very hungry, while other people just walked past them carrying loads full of bags after Christmas shopping in the mall and having fun at the fair next to the beach. Tiana and Chloe had made sandwiches for the homeless, and that is when Chloe saw Celeste for the very first time. Celeste just knew who Chloe was and went over to her and stroked her. And Celeste said gently, "Please don't tell anyone that you've seen me, because people no longer believe in unicorns. You can only tell Tiana, but nobody else." "Okay," replied Chloe. "I promise not to." Celeste replied, "Thank you. It is our little secret until the time is right." Chloe smiled and walked on to school with Tiana. They arrived at school and sat down in their classroom. Together, the teachers were hanging out Christmas cards exchanged to others. by their peers and teachers, but Paul, Chloe and Tiana received no Christmas cards, and at lunchtime they were excluded from a Christmas party invitation from this girl that bullied them named Clara. What made things worse is that Clara graffitied all over the school lockers and ganged up with her friends to make it look as if it was Chloe and Tiana who made the graffiti. So the teachers made them sit out or put up the Christmas decorations in their classroom, and from helping to decorate the Christmas tree. And that's why Chloe and Tiana have been sad for many Christmases, because Clara and her gang have been bullying them and making them miss all the fun of Christmas. Each and every year at school, on the way home from school, Clara, June, Philippa and Lucy follow them home, mocking them. You think you both are so perfect helping the homeless. Well, we're going to make your life a nightmare and help ruin your Christmas. For all your lies. Chloe cried. Why? What have we ever done to you? June laughed. We just think it's hilarious that you both still daydream like that, like two little girls, and want to be a too goody two shine. I bet you still even believe in Santa. So what if we do? Cried Tiana. The four mean girls came across a homeless little girl who was eating a Christmas cookie. Clara grabbed the cookie out of her hands, which made the four girls hysterically laugh with laughter and run off. The homeless girl cried. She was very hungry, but Chloe and Tiana had made spare cookies and crisp and a sandwich, which they gave to the little girl, and the little girl smiled. What is your name? Asked Tiana to the little girl. Grace, replied the girl. Chloe and Tiana walked back home. On their way home, they saw yellow and pink flowers in their neighbour's garden. Pink flowers came off their heads and span about, turning into hearts, and the yellow flower heads came off and span and turned into yellow butterflies. The butterflies and hearts then burst and went back into being flowers again. Chloe and Tiana just looked at each other surprised, but in a pleasant way. The two girls got home. That night Chloe received more bad news. Her mum and dad were getting a divorce, and her mum wanted to move away with Chloe. Chloe burst into tears. I am not going anywhere. I am staying here in Daytona with my best friend Tiana. You can't separate us. We are very best friends. But her mum, Catherine, replied, But darling, you will make new friends, and besides, you will see her at school. But get away from the bullies, and you'll also get away from the bullies that live here. Chloe snapped, smashing a glass on the ground. Nope, I don't want to go. Catherine replied, Sorry, dear, but you have no choice. With that, Chloe grabbed Chloe and her belongings and clothes and ran to the car with her. But let me at least say goodbye to Tiana, Chloe cried. There's no time, snapped Catherine. She drove for miles, coming into a farm where her grandparents lived. She unloaded her clothes and belongings and put them away in her granddad's wardrobe. Her grandparents gave her her own room. She would just stand in front of her window staring out of it for a very long time. And it would be so long and lonely, nights without her best friend, and she just started sobbing uncontrollably. Her granddad knocked on her door. Sweetheart, can you please let me in? So Chloe reluctantly let him in. Her granddad said gently, I know it's going to be very long and lonely without your best friend, but I am going to take you to school every day, and Tiana can stay the night tomorrow night. Chloe half smiled back at her granddad. Try to get some sleep, darling, he said. Okay, granddad, replied Chloe. As Chloe looked out of the window, she saw Celeste walking past, and as she galloped, a sparkling rainbow shined out from her beautiful mane. The next morning, Tiana woke up saying, I'm going to call for Chloe now. Her mum Bianca informed, Sorry to tell you this, but you will no longer be able to call for her. She has moved. It was like she was falling into a deep dark hole of utter despair as her heart sank. and she yelled, "No!" and just ran off to school. And her mum called after her. Poor Tiana cried all the way to school, and the horrible girls caught up with her, teasing her. "What are you going to do without your best friend now, crybaby?" She ran off and they shouted, "You got no one to go to school with now, you crybaby." But while they were doing that, they came across Grace. She had a school bag in her hand and said, "Leave Tiana alone. She is my new friend now. We live at the shelter, who has provided us school and shelter clothes for my family. She will not have to walk to school alone, because my twin brother Jonas and I will be going to your school and in your class, so you will no longer have a gang against only 2 people any longer, but 4 against 4 now. The number's even. However, where you come against us in hate, we will fight back in love." "Oh, shut up," snapped Clara. "You will never get past us. We are way too smart for the likes of you poor homeless ones." However, Philippa was rethinking about her actions. Once they all got into school, Chloe and Tiana sobbed on each other's shoulders and hugged each other so close, Chloe and Tiana, that their parents arranged for them to stay together for the night. Chloe told Tiana that her parents arranged for them to stay together for the night. Their teacher introduced Grace and Jonas to the class. Philippa decided to go outside for some fresh air after her teacher gave her permission to, for not feeling well. Celeste could see her but would not show herself to Philippa, but she knew what she was thinking, and she caused Philippa to pass out and see rainbows and have visions of falling through lights and glitter. But then she felt very disturbed as she saw a huge monster coming towards her with huge sharp teeth. Meanwhile, the teacher was looking over her, trying to wake her up. "Philippa," said Mrs. Peach, "there's something I need to tell you in private." So Mrs. Peach, who was their teacher, took Philippa into her office. She let her know that Chloe and Tiana did not graffiti the lockers, but it was the 4 of them who did. She also handed her lots of Christmas cards over the years that Philippa had stolen from Chloe and Tina, and informed her she did it because Clara had told her to, and she also confessed she had been bullying the 2 girls because her mum had been abusing her for years, and she was taking out her frustrations. She wanted to live with her dad, who loved her and was so good to her, but her mum stopped her from doing so. Mrs. Peach was very pleased that Philippa at last had told the truth, and that she would try to reunite her with her dad again. However, she still needed to be punished as a consequence of her bad behaviour. So Philippa got suspended for a week from school, whereas Clara June were not allowed to come back until after, and Lucy were not allowed to come back until after Christmas. Chloe and Tiana still forgave Philippa straight away, and even became friends with Chloe and Tiana. She even got invited over to stay at Chloe's grandparents' home for that night, along with Tiana, Grace and Jonas. The 5 of them hanged out together, and Philippa told them about her vision and about her abusive mum. Chloe knew it was Celeste that gave Philippa the vision, which opened her mind up to make her change. Clara, June and Lucy abandoned Philippa after making friends with Chloe and gang, but she did not care about that. That night, Chloe and her granddad and the rest of the children went on a stroll together through their farm. Celeste just outrightly appeared before them. Chloe was surprised and said, "But I thought no one was to know about you, only me," said Chloe. With that, Celeste just replied, "Did you not know that all those pure in heart have their own unicorn at least once in their lives? I will be all of your unicorn, because you are all pure in heart." Philippa replied, "Not me, I have been a bully for years." Celeste replied, "Yet all your sins have been forgiven you, and you are no longer a bully." With that, Celeste flew off circling the farm, Many of the children below got excited, thinking she was one of Santa's reindeers, yet their parents could not even see her. A few days had passed and things were not much. A few days had passed and things were so much happier at school for Chloe and Tiana, yet they were still not completely happy because Tiana missed Chloe each evening and in the morning walking to school and longed to be with her. Clara, June and Lucy were furious and planning revenge on Chloe and Tiana for stealing one of their best friends and for getting them thrown out of school. Their jealousy was eaten inside them like an ugly worm grown inside them. Their dads were crooks and animal hunters, and unfortunately, once Celeste forgot to use her invisible powers, and their dads got together and had captured Celeste and put her in the centre of Daytona Town in a huge cage where everyone could now see her. That night, Chloe was going to stay with Tiana, and Grace, Jonas and Philippa were going to visit Celeste on their way home, when suddenly the roads turned into rivers and blue cars into dolphins, and then turned back into cars and roads. Philippa said, "That's weird. What's going on?" Chloe explained, "It's Celeste. She's trying to communicate that she is in trouble. We must get her to her at once." "Too late," sneered Clara, June and Lucy, who were walking behind them, unaware. Chloe cried, "What have you done with her?" "See for yourself," sneered Clara as she grabbed Chloe by her collar, with the other children following. Clara took her to a cage that had Celeste in it. "Oh no!" cried Chloe. "We must get her out." Clara mocked. "Just try it." With all its heavy security, Chloe, Tiana, Philippa, Grace and Jonas' heart sank and felt very heavy. People were standing at Celeste, staring, and some naughty boys were mocking her, throwing sticks at her. But Chloe and her friends did not appreciate Celeste being put on a Christmas display. That night, Tiana had a huge row with Bianca for not wanting to get involved in setting Celeste free. So Chloe, Tiana, Grace, Jonas and Philippa caught a taxi back to Chloe's farm home. Catherine was annoyed also that they came back early and that they were about to set Celeste free, as she knew it would be too dangerous to do that. She tried to stop them, but they managed to get away and find Chloe's granddad, who agreed to helping them, as he knew how much Celeste meant to the children. He grabbed his tools and drove them into town with his tractor. When they got to Celeste, they somehow managed to get to Celeste after she gave the guards a vision of dinosaurs appearing to them. They got scared and ran off, but she also gave Grandad a vision of Tiana and her mum, Grace, Jonas and their parents, a vision of them living in his empty farmhouses there that used to be stables converted into houses. He realised how much Chloe and Tiana loved each other, and Celeste were also opening his heart and eyes up to it even more. Celeste was set free. The next day, Chloe's granddad asked Bianca, her two sons, and Tiana and her dad to live in his farmhouse. They agreed and moved in straight away. Once again, Chloe and Tiana lived side by side each other, but also they gained more friends as Grace, Jonas and their parents moved into the other farmhouse, so they were no longer homeless. And more very good news, Philippa's dad won custody of her, and her dad lived next door to Chloe's grandparents. As for Chloe, June and Lucy, well, their mums decided to leave their dads as they were upset after they found out that they had been abusing animals, and those three girls were never seen ever again. Christmas was wonderful. They all got together and sang Christmas carols and exchanged gifts. Celeste flew above. She saw all the homeless below her and caused the leaves on the bushes to turn into food parcels and the rocks into tiny homes. And Then, last but not least, caused the beautiful Christmas tree in the middle of Daytona Square to glow with a beautiful bright green light. She then flew back into heaven, leaving everyone with such a very happy Christmas. God and Angel Gabriel were so proud of her and gave her her golden stripe. Celeste looked around for Adam and Eve, but could not find them. She was sad, but time had passed in heaven. Jesus showed Celeste his whole pierced hands and feet and stripes on his back and side. Celeste was horrified, but then Jesus explained that she had been sent back to another time in heaven, that Adam and Eve rebelled, and all mankind had rebelled, that he died to set all mankind free again and give them a future and hope. Yet again, Jesus told Celeste not to worry about Adam and Eve, as she would be seeing them soon again. At that point, Celeste was filled with so much joy in knowing how deep the love of Jesus and grace of Jesus truly is. And that's the end, and I hope you all enjoyed it and got blessed by that. God bless you all. Bye for now.